Good evening. Welcome to Trending at 10 p.m. with me, Vishnu Shom. On the program tonight, the Jammu and Kashmir government has collapsed and there will be governor's rule in the state. This happened after the BJP withdrew its ministers in the PDP-BJP alliance, which was ruling the state, and declared that the alliance was over. Mehbooba Mufti, the chief minister, has since submitted a resignation to the state governor NN Vohra. The decision to withdraw was announced by the BJP General Secretary Madhav, who spoke extensively about the security situation in the state, where terrorism, violence and radicalisation have risen and fundamental rights of citizens are under danger in the valley, is what he said. Just how serious are these security considerations? Was this really the only major factor why this had to take place? Is this truly the worst period for Jammu and Kashmir? In a little while from now, an exclusive interview with SP Vaid, the Director General of Police in Jammu and Kashmir, the man with the key responsibility of hunting down terrorists with the army and paramilitary forces. But first, here are the key developments in the state today.
It has become untenable for BJP to continue in the alliance government in Jammu and Kashmir.
And with that, the BJP's alliance with the PDP ended in Jammu and Kashmir. The announcement came after this meeting of BJP MLAs with party boss Amit Shah in Delhi. Ram Madhav, who was the key architect of the tie-up, blamed the deteriorating security situation in the state.
एक भारी मात्रा में कश्मीर घाटी में आतंकवाद, terrorism and violence बढ़ गया. फ्री स्पीच ये भी खतरे में आ गए हैं वैली में. आपने देखा जिस प्रकार एक मूर्धन्य पत्रकार शुजात बुखारी जी की दिन दहाड़े श्रीनगर शहर में हत्या होती है. It is time the reins of power in the state be handed over to the governor.
From the beginning, PDP and BJP had huge differences. Mufti Muhammad Saeed once famously called it as a meeting between the North Pole and the South Pole. But in the end, fundamental ideological differences tore the two apart.
This is what the Jammu and Kashmir Assembly currently looks like. Both the National Conference and the Congress have ruled out any support to the PDP. Mehbooba Mufti resigned within minutes, saying she went with the BJP for the larger interests of the state.
मेरे लिए तो कोई चीज शौक नहीं है. हमने तो ये अलायंस जो है पावर के लिए नहीं किया था. जम्मू कश्मीर में मस्कुलर पॉलिसी नहीं चल सकती. जम्मू कश्मीर में वी कांट ट्रीट जम्मू कश्मीर एज एन एनिमी टेरिटरी.
The opposition attacked the BJP, saying the centre could not absolve itself of the responsibility with regard to the situation in the state. Former Chief Minister Omar Abdullah also met Governor NN Vohra and said elections should be held soon.
हमने गवर्नर साहब से कहा है कि इन हालात में जबकि किसी भी एक पार्टी के पास हुकूमत बनाने का मैंडेट है नहीं, तो फिर गवर्नर साहब के पास और कोई चारा रहेगा नहीं. उनको फौरी तौर गवर्नर रूल लागू करना होगा और फिर कोशिश करनी होगी कि रियासत के जो बहुत ही ज्यादा खराब हालात हैं उनको आहिस्ता आहिस्ता दुरुस्त करना होगा. ज्यादा देर जो है गवर्नर रूल रहना नहीं चाहिए. रियासत में दोबारा साजगार हालात बने, नए सिरे से इलेक्शन हो. I was expecting a pull-out. I was expecting this coalition to fall apart, but I had expected this to happen a little later in the year. Don't be under this mistaken illusion that we are in any way celebrating this breakup. We are not. We are mourning the demise of democracy in this state.
इन 3.25 सालों में इन्होंने जम्मू कश्मीर को बर्बाद किया, तबाह कर दिया. तो बीजेपी की सरकार, केंद्रीय सरकार अपनी जिम्मेदारी से भाग नहीं सकती. There's no question of making any government with PDP. Question does not arise.
Jammu and Kashmir is back to governor's rule, third time since January 2015. As the BJP has dumped its alliance part of PDP and ousted Mehbooba Mufti, question is, will the Governor NN Vohra dissolve Jammu and Kashmir Assembly and pave way for fresh elections, or BJP and central government has some plan B in mind? With Zafar Iqbal, Nazir Masoodi for NDTV.
Well, joining us now, a very special guest, the Director General of Police in Jammu and Kashmir, SP Ved. Thank you, Mr. Ved, very much for speaking to us. Today has been a day of dramatic developments. One of the points which has repeatedly been mentioned is that the security situation in Jammu and Kashmir needs to be consolidated. Just how bad is it in your assessment after that ceasefire ended?
The militant activities have actually increased during this period, and since the operations were stopped, and we will go all out and intensify operations against the terrorists.
Do you believe now that
in
with
fact,
governors...
as I'm speaking,
Yep.
as I'm speaking, the encounter has already started in Tral area of Avantipur district, where 3 terrorists are trapped.
Sir, with governor's rule now, it's going to happen in Jammu and Kashmir. Do you believe that there would be consolidation of the law and order mechanism, the security mechanism in the state that would enhance your battle against terrorism?
I'm sure things should work very effectively, and it will have an effect on the security situation in the valley.
So, in the 30-odd days of the Ramzan ceasefire, were you affected in your operations, for example, intelligence, for example, some operations which you may have carried out, you were unable to because there was a political effort at place. Did that impact you in terms, of protecting people?
See, the orders were to maintain high alert in the camps, so that if camps are attacked, you are able to retaliate effectively. But one could not launch operations wherever there was information, even specific information about presence of terrorists. So that obviously was advantageous to the terrorists.
And sir, do you believe that the
could
terrorist
operate,
forces in the Kashmir Valley were able to regroup in this intervening period?
I think they had, in terms of in terms of organizing, they had, I think, advantage during this period.
And therefore, is your job now onwards a little bit more difficult because of this gap that existed because of this Ramzan ceasefire?
This job was never easy. It is always difficult and shall continue to be so.
So what progress have you made as far as your investigations into the murder of Shujat Bukhari?
We had constituted a special investigating team headed by DIG rank officers. DIG Central Kashmir Range is personally monitoring. In fact, the Zonal IG Kashmir himself is taking updates on day-to-day basis, and there are important leads in that case, which I would not like to talk at the moment, but it will be too premature to talk about those developments.
That said, sir, would it be fair for me to say that within a very finite period of time, you would be able to bring the men who were involved in this to justice? Would it be fair to say that in a finite period of time?
Absolutely. Within a limited period of time, we will be able to work out the case.
So there was the very unfortunate murder of an Indian Army soldier, Aurangzeb. What about investigations over there? I mean, it's a consolidated network, the army, the paramilitary forces and the police. Would you know anything further on those killers?
We know of those terrorists and we are after them, and we will very soon get them. We are after their life.
And sir, you've got, you know who you're looking for. It's again a matter of time. Is that what you're saying?
That's right, absolutely.
So one final question to you, just in terms of understanding, you know, there has never really been a let-up in security in Jammu and Kashmir apart from this 30-day period. It was the political step it perhaps needed to have been taken. Now you've got a governor's rule situation coming into the state. How would that necessarily make a difference in your operations?
I think operations will continue. Only thing was, in between during this period, the operations were stopped. They were going on earlier also, but we will intensify these operations in the days to come. And it would be, I think, much easier to work.
All right. Thank you very much, sir, for speaking to NDTV, sharing your views on the security setup in Jammu and Kashmir and the road ahead in the intervening period. Thank you very much indeed, sir. Well, joining us now, Siddique Wahid, the former VC of Islamic University of Science and Tech in Jammu and Kashmir, Deshratan Nigam with me, in the senior lawyer with me in the studio, and also Nija Chaudhary, the senior journalist. Siddique Wahid, let me ask you this. Is there a real sense that, it's not likely to be a short period of governor's rule? This could actually go on for an extended period of time, because if the goal is actually to consolidate the security situation in Jammu and Kashmir, there are no quick fire solutions.
Can't hear.
All right, we'll try and fix that. In fact, Nija, let me ask you that question. Do you believe that there are no quick fire solutions?
Of course not. In the context of Kashmir, there are no quick fix solutions. What is not comprehensible is, even if the government felt the security situation had slackened and the police couldn't get hold of the terrorists because of the ceasefire over the Ramzan period, why should that automatically lead to the fall of the government, an elected government? And central governments over the decades have wanted state government to be in place and for the center not to be pitted directly in Kashmir. So these governments have been like buffers, and that has been the goal of all central governments over the years. So for the BJP to withdraw its support, we don't know whether Mehbooba Mufti was against the extension. She was for extending, but would she have taken a position that was against? She, after all, did not pull out of the government. It is the BJP that withdrew support.
Okay.
So this is a question mark. Why bring down a democratically elected coalition and put in its place central rule, governor's rule, which makes the situation a little more tricky to handle, and doesn't obviously, from what the police chief was saying, doesn't obviously give you any advantage vis-a-vis, dealing with the operations.
Sure. Siddique Wahid, given the fact that we have such a massive security deployment in Jammu and Kashmir, I mean, the point remains, what can we necessarily do differently? It's just been a 30-day odd period where we've had this cessation of some of the most intense, operations. That is now taking place. Perhaps there'll be more active, more aggressive cordon and search operations. That comes with its own set of problems. Be that as it may, how can we assume that governor's rule will result in a better security situation? What guarantee is there of that?
I don't assume that at all.
Okay.
Vishnu, I don't assume that at all. I think that it could go either way. It just depends on how you deploy it, and what further happens. As far as intensifying security, that has happened since 2016 and up to now. And as a recent report of the UN Human Rights High Commissioner for Human Rights in the UN has pointed out, that this has led to worse situation in terms of human rights violations and other things. So I don't think that this obsession with security has improved anything in Kashmir.
So what exactly, so therefore, that being the case, you call it an obsession with security, and obviously I'm not suggesting for a moment that you're saying that security is not important in the context of the state,
No.
But then why do you believe the BJP then pulled the plug? I mean, if it's not just security, is there something else?
I think there are two reasons. One is that because the, call it the muscular policy, the Doval doctrine, call it whatever you will, has failed. It's very simple. I think that is one reason. The other reason is slightly maybe what you want to call medium term in this context, and that is that there is an election coming around the corner. Election for India, all India, election. And what is happening now is that the BJP is finding itself on the back foot. So maybe, that this is a policy that inputs into its constituency India-wide on that front as well.
Deshrata Nigam, would you agree that the PDP alliance and the BJP, no secret, it was not going anywhere. But at this stage, heading into an election year, there was an image crisis as far as the BJP was concerned in hanging on to a party, the PDP, which was wanting to talk to separatists, wanting to talk to Pakistan, wanting perhaps a less aggressive posture with regard to the fight against terrorism. Was that a problem for the BJP going into an election year?
No, let me tell you one thing. BJP was not against talking to anybody, even with Pakistan, but terror and talks could not go together. That is for sure. And there was a coordination problem right from the beginning. If you look at the amnesty to stone pelters, BJP didn't want, Mehbooba wanted, and the due place to be given to Ladakh and Jammu. In fact, everything was being concentrated in Kashmir Valley by Mehbooba Mufti. That was also one of the problems. Settlement of Rohingyas in the Jammu region and settlement of Bakarwals in the forest tribal lands was, all these were the issues, and the CBI inquiry in Katwa case also became an issue where
became a
huge issue, and the two ministers resigned also. So all these things were not going anywhere, and this was bound to happen. This happened, and the lack of coordination was probably hampering the anti-terrorist operations as well there, the developmental work as well there. So I think this is the right decision to be taken by the BJP, or if it could have been taken by the PDP itself. And let me tell you, the cadres of both the parties are very relieved today because they were working under a lot of stressful conditions.